Hey, come on. Come on. Hey. What? Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Hey. Let's chit chat, this is the show now. Come on. Bad black mama's gonna let you know now. Here we go, here we go, here we go now. Come on. Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey, what's up? Let's chit chat, let's chit chat, let's chit chat, sis. Hey.
Good morning, ladies. Good afternoon, or wherever you're at. Good
Morning.
day, ladies.
It's gonna be a good day.
All these beautiful smiles. How is everybody doing?
Phenomenal.
Great.
Doing great.
Good.
We are doing good. We above earth. I mean, so
Yes.
we doing good, or we not sitting on somebody's mantle. So we doing good. That's the new thing now. You know what I mean? Everybody is not going
Yeah.
on the ground. You know what I mean? So we not on the mantle, and we not in the dirt. So we have a really exciting episode today, and I'm gonna say exciting because I think that the people that hear this, they are going to be thinking of different ways to, make their finances. I don't know. I don't want to say make their finances, because sometimes people don't have the resources that they need, and it's not a lot of people to help them. But have awareness that staying in relationships, because you're financially bounded, is not always going to be a limited alternative. You can find different ways, and we have an expert on the porch with us today, Racine. Thank you for joining us. This is actually not my episode. This is my sister girl Natasha's episode, and I'm just really excited that we are talking about something that's really intimate, but prevalent, and has a lot of substance to it, but also it is something that can be taboo, because a lot of people don't talk about it until something really probably terrible happens, tragic happens, and then they start to peel back the onion and say, well, what was going on in that relationship? You know what I mean? I'm sure y'all got girlfriends, because I got girlfriends like that who are in a relationship, and they just feel like they're bound. So that was my little spill for this morning. Natasha, take over.
I'm up. Good morning.
Good
Racine.
morning.
Thank you for joining us. So before we dive into all this deliciousness, can you share a little bit about what it is that you do?
All right. I teach women, families, business owners how to make their money make sense. I educate on the rules of the game, show it how it applies to them. I customize, their game plan, because what's good for you, Natasha, or Kimberly, or Aisha, or Keisha, is totally different from how it relates to me. The concepts are the same, but how they're applied and how it helps, move your family or your individualness to the next level is different. Okay. And then, we work together, not just that one time once you see your personal plan, but moving you in stages. Because sometimes I always tell people you didn't get there overnight. So it's not going to be an overnight fix, So really it is empowering, to move individuals from one side of the road to the other, the most efficient way. And so I've been doing this for now over 28 years. I know I look 21.
I know that's right, girl.
And I started like when most other women, we talking about women today, and men. I started because I was in financial, I call it a wreck. And I had to figure out a way to move it to the right direction. I'm an accountant by trade. I went to school, worked for a large university, but it was crazy because, 30 days after I got my check, there was no money. Now, people think accountants know everything about money. Please do not let them trip you up and think that. We know how to count the beans, but we don't know how to make them grow. Okay. They overlap, true enough, but don't let people fool you thinking accountants are all that in a bag of chips. We are when it comes to counting, but growing, just, moving your money to the next level, you have to be trained. So I'm in a great position where I am both. And that's the advantage I think that I have. But my goal is overall is just to change the community, one family at a time, one business at a time, for the next generation.
Thank you for sharing your story and admitting your struggles, because some people don't admit their struggles, and using the word empowerment, because I know today's episode is based around women in relationships that can't leave the relationship because of their finances. Is that something that you experience within your business?
Absolutely. A lot of times when women come to me, they don't tell me exactly what's going on.
Oh, of course
but
not.
Okay. And so one of the great things that I'm able to do is really have a conversation, because it's already sometimes an emotional coming to me, because there's feelings of inferiority, that they don't deserve my time, or they feel like somebody just told me the other day they feel dumb. I told them, don't ever use that word with me. There's no reason to feel dumb. That's not in my vocabulary. And so I also find out, when that is an issue, when I said, well, normally I have both husband and wife come to the table. And the first thing they'll say is, no, I don't want my husband on the appointment.
Oh wow.
That's usually the flag,
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's the primary reason that something's going on in the household. And that's when I start asking questions. And it's not that I don't want to have the husband. Sometimes I like to hear both sides, and then I meet with them separate and that kind of thing. So it is sometimes that I find the conversation when I bring the spouse in, whether it's a male spouse or female spouse, it really doesn't matter in some cases, because it can have the same dynamic, and so I listen to both sides, and I can really feel what's going on in the house, and then I can put some solutions in place, whether separate. Most of the times in the case of women who are feeling, that they're stuck, and I usually get them empowered to move so they can really, because I find that that's where I need to put the Band-Aid on first and heal the wound and move it forward. So now if they choose to come together and work together, then I'll come back to the other party, move them forward too, and then they'll be one, if that's what they chose to do. And then two, it really, I add that part to, if they have a family, have kids, the kids feel their energy too. So a lot of times, depending on how the kid is, I have them later on come into my conversation, because kids need to understand finances too. It's generational, it really is. So kids are very, very malleable. Yeah, that's the word. The southernness in me, you gotta be careful. So, but they hear everything, and they can learn just as much as our parents do or adults do when it comes to money. So that way they understand why mom and dad makes the decisions that they do. And hey, I can do the same thing. I can be responsible. I can get my allowance, so it's a great dynamic, because I'm looking, not just sometimes the individual, but the family as a whole.
So let me ask you a question. When women come and they have their spouses with them, it's probably a tense situation, but they come to you, Racine, and they're like, I'm not in a good space with my spouse, and you can see you got all our numbers in front of you. You can see that my monetary contribution is minimal. So I don't know what I can do, because this is not going to last right here, but I know that I need to be separated and start a new path for myself. What advice do you give people, women that come to you? Because I know there's a lot of women that come and they are already adapted to a lifestyle, but the situation is not great. You're not their counselor. So, I put you in that position, but sometimes I guess you become their counselor, because how can I get out without going to the rock bottom? You see what I'm saying? because that's what's going to happen. If I separate from this man or whatever happens, we know the court can give you some leverage if you've been married and, the balance is off and so on and so on. But, it's also a transition to get there. You know what I mean? Some people are not willing to make sure that their spouse is okay. But what advice do you give women like that who's just, not to say that they're unskilled or they're just not, they're ill prepared. That, you see what I'm saying? They're ill prepared to deal with life without that partner financially.
Gotcha. Wow, that's a class in and of itself. First and foremost, when I'm sitting with them, I know if I'm sitting there with both of them, I know that when I'm looking at the numbers, I really find out a little bit about her specifically, where is she generating income, etc. Because I used to start appointments. Hey, I'm going to show you how to squeeze blood out of a turnip. I had to stop doing that. That's a Southern thing, you guys. And that means that, hey, I'm going to see where the money really is. And I'm going to squeeze as much as I can so I can move it and do the things that we need to do. And I stopped saying that because that means a lot of the responsibility is on me to move them. And it's mutual. There are some things they have to do or want to do. Okay. Please remember that's first and foremost.
Good point.
They have to be willing to work with me, not me do all the work. Okay. First
that's a good one.
Okay. Then second of all, I need to find out if she truly wants to move, because I've been where women say, Racine, I'm so sick and tired. He get on my nerve. I got to do, just what you said, I'm ready to go. But when I get to moving everything, crickets, crickets. Or life is life. I'm not taking, because everybody makes decisions, and whatever decision they decide, I'll accept that decision. I can't want it more than they want it. Okay, so
that's
just understand, I can't, want it more than that person. So I have to find out if they're really, or her or him, or if she's moving and ready to go based on the recommendations. And then I know a lot of times it is not when I give them the information and the game plan, it is sometimes they need more money. Okay. And I gotta help them realize, okay, sis, you either gotta go, and I'm thinking of an actual case, but I tell them she needs to go make some extra money. She needs another side hustle. She needs to go work extra hours. She needs to go babysit somebody sometimes, and then stash some money. Okay, I'm thinking of an actual case, so that's why I'm talking about stashing money. So she has to set aside some money so that when she makes some moves, whether cleaning up some things, being able to go find another place to stay, because I've talked to women who've been abused, that ain't a situation where I physically think they need to continue to stay, period. Okay. So they need to move some money and start saving up money so they can move in silence in most cases. And it means maybe moving the kids at the same time. So, I show them how to do that because I'm worried about their physical, mental, and spiritual health, along with their monetary health. You get me? All right. And so then once I, show them what their life can be, because they see the picture that's before them. So now I have to give them the vision of what their life can be. And sometimes that's where I'm almost a counselor in some cases. Because I have to, not classically trained or, but I literally have to talk to them and guide their spirit to move them, and say, hey, what you see now is not what you're going to be permanently, And I even ask them what their picture looks like, because I need to figure out if they really truly can see a bigger picture beyond themselves in that situation.
That's a lot of responsibility on you. It really is. But I know that I could say that, and I'm sure Natasha and Mel and Aisha and Keisha will jump in. Everybody has had situations in their relationship where they felt like they haven't, they're not independent enough to, be on a solo trip, and that's nothing wrong with it. You see what I'm saying? Because you have to get yourself, prepare yourself, make plans, and get yourself there. Even if you have no intentions of departing from your relationship. I always say this much, and I raise my children the same way. There is nothing wrong with always having that rainy day fun over here and understanding that, hey, guess what? You don't have to leave because you're in a bad relationship. Something can happen because it could be death. You know what I mean? It could be anything. And you're not financially prepared to be on this trip of life by yourself. You see what I'm saying? So that's just my little 2 cents on it. I'm looking at Keisha, and I know Keisha, I know you have
she has as I was looking up this topic and researching, she hit a lot of things that that I was thinking about. And I saw this word called a cash go bag, just like you pack a physical bag. And when people leave, have a cash go bag. And I was
I'm gonna use that one, Keisha.
Yeah,
put it in your bonnet.
Yeah, and that is, you have money, and I'm gonna use my southern term, when you squirrel money away.
Squirrel.
I mean, you putting money aside to actually do those things. But I'm glad that Kim brought up a topic of feeling stuck, not wanting to leave the relationship per se, but that you're not, you don't have the ability to sustain yourself. And I remember one day I was sitting in church, this was a long, long time ago, and a pastor, he was preaching, and he was like, he will never be broke. And I said, you know what? I'll never be broke again. And I made a plan for myself to start putting away some money for myself, just for myself. Nothing saying that I'm leaving or doing this, but just something for me to know that I'll stash in every month. I would it started off really, really small, and I would never go under a certain amount. So if I was at that amount, I'm broke. If I had 200, I'm broke. And then now you keep on building from there. But what advice would you give to a person who's like, okay, maybe the spouse is not so financially a fit, and you want to see the direction of the family go somewhere, and maybe you need to do this first by yourself to show them and not bring that person in? What would you say? How would you do that?
I still, if I don't have both people there, it's still the same process. I gotta educate. I really need to educate, and I'll kind of give you a backstory later on, but I really educate, because a lot of times it really is the understanding of money, the rules, okay? And they're so simple. They really are. I keep it simple. You don't need a PhD to know finance. You really don't. And so once I go through 3 or 4 different rules and show them how it could apply to them, it really just, you can see them change. They're going from like this to like in less than 30 minutes. In less than 30 minutes, I can change their mindset about, hey, I could see myself doing that, or I can see myself, because you can invest with $25 a month minimum. It doesn't take a lot. The banks and everything tell you that, okay? And there's a reason for that too, okay? There's some fundamental things. And I asked them, I said, how much can you literally set aside monthly so that I can get you out of debt? I can get you having an emergency fund. I can get you saving for your retirement, what we call wealth fund, adding your kids' education, paying off debt. How much monthly can you set aside? For example, if they say, Racine, I only bring $1,000 a month into the household income. I said, well, okay, let's take 10% of that. Can you give me $100 a month? And I'm going to devise a game plan that we're going to work into. Okay. And so that $1,000 a month, I may put $25 to, get rid of their debt. I make $25 to put in emergency fund, $25 for their IRA, and then maybe another $25 or $50 to put, life insurance in place. So they'll feel like I got a plan. I feel like I'm on my way. It doesn't take thousands of dollars to start. You get me? And then, I said, let's find some extra income so you can grow into and like put away your, what you call it, the cash go bag, and start
like
squirreling away money, and I do a workshop, fine, fabulous, and financially free. A man is not a plan. Okay, because sometimes,
girl, repeat that again.
Yeah.
Fine, fabulous, and financially free. A man is not a plan.
That's another topic.
That's another topic. Let me write that down. Let me write that down.
Getting it trademarked as we speak. So, so literally, sometimes we think that we have to. There's a patriarchal society that thinks men, we gotta move with men. Because remember, we didn't get credit cards till 1971. Women of color was not included in that. Okay.
When was that? 1989.
Crazy. So I have to give you baby steps, and then we'll walk into, moving you to the next level. So when I'm sitting with them, I know that the husband, is not even better than she is when it comes to the money. So I got to teach him the same thing, because he's not teaching her, and he's trying to overcompensate because he didn't know. And so I have to humble him, not in a bad way. I have to humble him and say, look, okay, I can help you to help y'all. Okay. And so I have to get him to accept the fact I'm going to teach you and move you. You got to give me the opportunity. And I have an 85% pass rate where they really were like, when I start teaching certain concepts, I know that men, certain things that I teach, men open up. I've had men who are 20 times older than I am, just say, what can you teach me? Because that bravado is there. But when I finish 15 minutes later, they're like, oh my God, I need you to do this, this, and that. Now my wife, you can do that, do this. They're like encouraging. So sometimes it is, I am the ladies or the women or the wives or the girlfriends secret weapon. Okay. And when I go in, it's unspoken. I hope I'm not going on tangents, but it's an unspoken weapon. I'm going in because I know I can kick butt, and I know I can, turn him to where I need him to be. I'm that assassin when I go into the household. I mean, really, and it's unspoken. I can look at Natasha's eyes and I can see something she ain't saying, but I can hear her. I can look at you, Keisha, and I can hear what you're saying, but I can see it in your eyes. And I look at him and he's like, but by the time I finish, okay, yeah, I see what that dynamic is. He's like thinking, what can she tell me? And she's like, dude, just let the lady finish talking. Let the lady do what she needs to do, because I need it. And she's sitting on the edge of her seat trying to keep herself together. But I feel the energy. So by the time I finish, I'm serving him on a platter. Or I'm serving, sometimes, oddly enough, y'all, I've seen it flip, where the woman is the most aggressive and the man is subdued. There are some dynamics on that too. But either way.
But when you say, you flip them, only that's concerning to me, because I think that, going back to like when we first were able to establish credit and build credit, and I'm going to say just women in general, okay? And I could just even tell you, like, from my moms, there's always been, and it's, either or, you know what I mean? The man was in the house, he was the provider. The woman was in the house as the homemaker, you know what I mean? We are totally different now, because, circumstances have forced most people to say, you know what, there is no leverage for one person to be working in the house. Things cost too much. You know what I mean? You know, life, if you got kids, you want too much for them. It's just, unless you got it like that, you know, it's just seems unrealistic in these days and time. But not to say it's not happening. You know, when you say a man is not a plan, some people still think a man is the plan. You know what I mean? And yeah, I see you, Keisha. The man is not the plan. But that's still not, because I look, we have a lot of men that's on this porch too. We don't want to minimize, and I really appreciate you, Racine, for putting in the emphasis on how the male perspective plays a big part in this. But I don't want to overlook the simple fact that sometimes it's all right to say, I need my own. I need my
That's
own.
true.
You know, I like what you said, Keisha. You know, you heard this in church and then you built on it, and you know, now that I ain't even gonna say that old grandma saying of a rainy day fund, cash in the pocket, whatever you said, you know, it means a lot. You know what I mean? Means a lot. So I want to keep going on with my little tangents. Aisha, thoughts?
Oh my goodness. I am here taking notes and peeping game. I just started reading a book, Smart Women Finish Rich by David Bach. And I'm like, hear what they can tell me. Somebody who can really speak my language, not just this book. I'm flipping pages. I needed to, you know, to hear
Good point.
beautiful face. That's the
Thank you.
situation right now. I looked up after almost 13 years of marriage, and I'm like, I don't like this at all. I would go on a date without my own money in my pocketbook. I would say you have money to cover your own meal and to get your behind home or whatever the case may be. And I'm looking around like we have two baby girls, and I'm like, if I had to move tomorrow, I don't have an amount in the bank that I'm 100% comfortable with. Like I know I would be able to sustain us the way I would want to. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to get any better unless I put a plan in place right now. I can continue to grow what I'm bringing in because I'm all about that. I have my multiple streams of income. Like my money's not making enough money for me. So I'm like, I need to learn how to, you know, have all those separate pots that you were saying, okay, get the debt taken care of. That's minimal. And I want to make sure I'm learning those skills now so that I'm not telling my girls what to do, but they're learning while I'm doing it because I was brought up to you just do better than I did. So long as y'all do better than me, you know, y'all making it. So according to my family, like I'm making it. Nope. I'm not satisfied with that.
Gotcha.
That's a really good point. So, because you know,
Mm-hmm.
Aisha got the prettiest little girls. And you know, they're in the business, and they're beautiful little girls. And you know, I just when I see your posts and stuff, Aisha, I always think about that. I'm like, it's not just. I mean, I know you and Alex, y'all building a these two little girls that are going to have a sensational life, you know. But I also look at what you're doing as creating these little girls to become financially stable women. You know what I mean? That know that okay, I have this to take care of myself. You know what I mean? So hats off to y'all. So I don't want to belabor this because I know you have something to say, Mel.
And it piggybacks off of what both you and Aisha just what's the youngest age that you teach this to? Because I think that and play catch up. And I would love to see our girls learning this at such a young age where they're not playing catch up. They're doing what Aisha's girls are doing. You know, they're watching doing it, but they're also going to training sessions and learning all the fundamentals. What's the young?
That's a good question, Miss Mel.
Good one.
Really
you
good
can
question.
call me Miss Mel.
Well, you know, you know, charge it to the head, not the heart. You know, it's done in kindness, of course. And
the more you really come on here, Racine, you'll see. You become that's Mel right there.
Definitely age 7 and up. I do a workshop on how money works for kids. Okay. And so certain ages, I, start with certain concepts. So from 7 to around 12 years old, I'm teaching them about being socially conscious of money. So if they're charity, how to actually, give back for their time, and money. So when they get their allowance, put 10% away, and give it to a charity of their choice. Then I show them about investing. I teach them, a concept that shows them how money compounds. And I actually do it in a way it's interactive. That age group likes interactive visual, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And hands-on. I can't show them a PowerPoint. It won't be lasting. Mm-hmm. And then I actually show them about investing. I actually have, like, you remember they don't do them now. You remember the large catalogs, like Sears catalogs, etc. So I used to have them to go in there and do shopping. And I have them to go in and write down a list of things that they want to buy. So I'm showing them about spending, but I'm also showing them about investing, because I said, now think about the companies that you have on your shopping list. Do you own any of those companies?
Bing, 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 bing.
You're spending your money on them, but where's your ownership? So I show them both sides of the coin. There's nothing wrong with spending your money, but let's own your money too.
Good point.
Same advice for adults.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
I like
True that. But I keep it simple, y'all. Like I said, you do not need a PhD. Okay. And then from age 12 to 18, what I'm working on now is putting a curriculum in place in the school systems, because they don't teach finance in school. And in some communities, they do. Okay, way home on that one. So
loud and clear.
I want to change the curriculum so that our students will get the fundamentals. So and part of one reason why they don't teach it in schools is because it's a class system they're building.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I can't teach you how to be a millionaire, because that's not where I want you to be.
Right.
Just keep it real. Okay. So, so 12 to 18, I'm teaching them a little bit more, because now by the time they're either working, they got a larger allowance. And that's when they start thinking about credit cards in high school and college. So I'm showing them, hey, don't even go there. If you're going to do it, you got to pay it off every 30 days. So that is taking that understanding of money to another level, but you really applying it at that point. All right. And debt from age 12 to 18, and sometimes more closer to the 18 range, 16, 18, they have debt.
Really?
Because they're signing them kids up with credit cards.
Well, I know that. And I know sometimes, I don't know if people are still using their kids' names or whatever.
You took it right out of my mouth.
Doing that?
Yeah, phone bill, electric bill, all kinds of stuff.
Oh man, we're gonna have to have an episode about that, because
I mean, like, ruining your kids from before they even get out the door. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
That's some crazy stuff, but that does go on. You know what I mean? If they could put a electric bill, phone bill, or something in the kid name, they can proceed with some things and put a house in the child's name. Because think about it. If you self-employed and you try to buy a house, they go a different route. You see what I'm saying? Than your traditional way. You can set your kids up in a way that may not be good for them, And I've known people who have done this and thought nothing wrong with this, but guess what? Things lay on your credit for a long, long time. You see what I'm saying? They get out here and they just like, you know what? This is what it is. But I want to touch on the point you said. In different localities, I'll just say that much, that people are just not taught, you know what I mean? Because classism is really a realistic part of life. But also teaching kids that suffering is normal. Is also a part of life that
it really is.
Especially people of color, that we haven't been able to shed that. You see what I'm saying? And I always say even to my kids, like people that know me, I try to set my kids up for things that they will be able to do when they have kids. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to rent nothing. I want you to buy, because I don't want you to give somebody some money because you just think that I like this apartment the way it looked. They got all these nice appliances. Save your own damn money and buy your own appliances, and you can get the same thing. You know what I mean? This is your property. So guess what? It'll reap money back on you, because when you incur different things, credit cards or whatever, and I'm not a fan of credit cards, things like that, I tell them your house gonna pay money back to you. That's why most people are wealthy, because they got homes and they got life insurance policy. They keep that mess going. If we don't talk certain types of language to our kids, and we just push them out and just put them like that, especially I'm gonna say to our female, because no man is gonna be the plan. And number two, if you don't have a financial mindset, we can say everything we want, you know what I mean? But that passes on down. It doesn't even matter if you say, let me come over here and break Racine and just say, help me, help me, help me. And when they walk out the door, nobody's doing nothing about it. You see what I'm saying? So I think hats off to you, because you're providing a plethora of information to women, men, children, and that's what's needed. And I think this episode definitely touched on it. Natasha, I know you have something to say too.
I appreciate Racine. I think being a therapist and having a financial planner in my back pocket is helpful. I have sent, crazy enough, in the last 2 weeks, I have sent her information to a lot of people, because it seems like right now in 2023, these women are like, help money. Like I'm ready. They're like, I'm ready. So to have her in my back pocket to be like, I trust her, you're in good hands, has been very helpful. And also for myself, because I was never taught financial literacy. So I'd be in the same struggles at my age now as they are trying to figure it out. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on, taking time out today to come talk to us on the porch.
And you must come back. You must.
Yes.
There's so many other layers. Natasha, we are so grateful to you for bringing Racine on, because there's so many layers to this. We're talking about being able to look at your situation and assess it and make plans to be financially independent. This is the bulk of this episode. But we also got different layers here. I'm gonna keep on going back to your man is not a plan.
Yes.
It's not a plan. And I'm not a man hater, because I love my husband. I'm telling you. And I thank the Lord for him. A man is not a plan. But at the end of the day, guess what? Circumstances happen.
Right.
Circumstances happen. He could be a great dude today and be, anything can happen tomorrow. Let's keep it real. We live in the real world. This is, this porch, we don't have no fluff going on here. So, we have to have you back. We have to have you. Yes, because you did an awesome job.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. I really did. And
anybody have any closing remarks for Racine? Because I'm telling you,
thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And my final thought would be, just don't be afraid to ask for help, because help is out there. We have a person right here who's an expert and will be glad to help.
That's right. Thank you, Keisha.
Gotcha.
Mel, you got any final remarks?
I'm just grateful that she's doing it from the ground up with the girls and the kids. Because of that. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Aisha?
Yes, my takeaway was to start where you are, that you don't need a ton of money or whatever the case may be. If that looks like a couple of dollars out of every, paycheck or every little bit that comes in, well, it is what it is. You have to.
I saw that little key and I was like,
I saw the little hand too. I was like, what is going on?
So, ladies. Natasha, I'm sure you have some final words for her.
I just appreciate, what you're doing, teaching the financial literacy to everyone, because it's not taught enough. And I don't feel that there's even enough financial planners for all of us out here that need the assistance. It's just not enough. So I appreciate you. And thank you for coming on. Thank you for humoring me. And y'all, I'm going to put her out there. This is her first podcast recording. We have popped her cherry.
You did an awesome job. Awesome
Thank
job.
you.
So
Thank you.
ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And this episode, I can guarantee it's going to be a lot of feedback on this episode. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we all want to live a certain way. We all want to live healthy. We all want to be financially sound. And this is just one of the episodes that we should actually build on. You know, financial health is everything. You know, it is really everything. So thank you again, Racine. So join us every Wednesday when we drop a new episode. You can catch us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for any updates. But joining me tonight is
Aisha Catalano.
Keisha.
Natasha.
Ramel.
And I'm your girl, Kimmy. And joining us as our guest tonight was Racine Ricard, and she is a financial independent counselor. And before I close, because I do this all the time, y'all, I did not get your information for people to contact you, and we cannot leave this porch without having that done. So please tell just what you want to share, okay? Of how people can reach you, okay?
Well, definitely, especially everybody that is part of this podcast, I do a financial game plan for everybody that is in the listening ear. My Facebook business page is at Riker Dream Team, and my email is info@racineriker.com, and that's Racine, RACINE RIKARD.com. And I am on Instagram at Racine_Rikard. So definitely, I'm in Atlanta, but I am licensed in about 25 other states.
Sure.
So I'm worldwide, going Puerto Rico and Hawaii. So,
and I'm saying this now, y'all. I'm putting it out here now. And this is never to offend, but I'm just going to tell you. Get in touch with her before them income taxes start rolling in here, because you know you don't want to be doing the wrong thing. So, you know, I'm telling you, because you can take that money, invest that money, and not be worrying about when income tax comes. So, no, FYI. Thank you again, Racine. So,
you're welcome.
I'm your girl Kimmy, and thank you, ladies, for joining us on the porch tonight. Everybody have a wonderful week on purpose, and we'll see you next week. Take care.